Imagine for a moment that everything in your life is happening exactly as it is meant to. Not according to your personal expectations, not according to what society tells you should be happening, but according to a far greater intelligence, the divine orchestration beyond what the mind can comprehend. Imagine that every experience, every challenge, every moment of synchronicity is not random but placed in perfect sequence for your highest evolution. What if you are never truly lost? What if every detour, every setback, every delay is actually a hidden alignment, guiding you towards something far greater than what you had planned? Most people never realize this because they are too caught up in the illusion of control, too attached to their own version of how life should unfold. They resist, they struggle, they fight against the current of existence, thinking that if they just push harder, if they just do more, if they just force their way forward, they will finally reach where they are meant to be. But alignment does not work that way. Alignment is not something you force, it is something you fall into. It is not something you chase, it is something you allow. And the moment you stop trying to control life and instead surrender to its natural rhythm, something extraordinary happens. Things begin working out effortlessly. The right people, the right circumstances, the right opportunities appear as if by magic. You stop feeling like life is a battle and start realizing that life is a dance between your energy and the energy of the universe, a dance between your intentions and divine timing, a dance between your desires and the path that is actually meant for you. But how do you know when you are in this state of perfect alignment? How do you recognize when you have stepped into the flow of the universe rather than resisting it? The first and most powerful sign is that you stop chasing and yet everything starts chasing you. Think about it. How many times have you desperately wanted something, a relationship, a job, a goal, only to feel like the more you wanted it, the further away it got? This is because the energy of desperation is the energy of lack, and the universe does not respond to what you say you want, it responds to the vibration you are in. When you are chasing, you are vibrating in the energy of not having. And so, the universe mirrors that back to you by creating more situations where you continue not to have. But when you let go, when you stop needing, when you stop attaching your happiness to external outcomes, your energy shifts completely. You move from a state of lack to a state of abundance, from a state of forcing to a state of allowing, and suddenly, what you once chased begins gravitating toward you effortlessly. But people call this manifestation, but in reality, it is simply the law of resonance. You attract what you are, not what you want. So I ask you, what are you still chasing that you need to release?
Click subscribe to this channel to get more profound insights.
Because the second sign of alignment is that synchronicities become impossible to ignore. You think of someone you haven't spoken to in years, and they suddenly text you. You randomly decide to take a different route home, and it leads you to a life-changing opportunity. A book falls off a shelf, and within its pages is the exact wisdom you needed in that moment. But these are not coincidences. These are glimpses into the hidden fabric of reality, moments where the illusion of separation dissolves and you see, even if just for a second, that everything is connected. But the mistake most people make is that they ignore these signs. They brush them off as random events, failing to see that the universe is always speaking, always guiding, always leaving clues. And who are truly aligned don't just notice synchronicities, they trust them. They follow them without hesitation, and in doing so, they open doors that otherwise would have remained invisible. So now I ask you, How many signs has the universe already given you that you have ignored? But alignment is not just about external signs. It is about an internal shift, a shift so profound that it changes the way you experience reality itself. This brings us to the third sign, a deep, unshakable sense of peace, even when everything around you is chaotic. Most people live on an emotional roller coaster. But when things are going well, they feel good. When things go wrong, they collapse into fear, doubt, and anxiety. But true alignment is when your peace is no longer dependent on external circumstances. But it is when you can stand in the middle of uncertainty, in the middle of chaos, and still feel an unshakable calm within you. Why? Because you no longer see life as happening to you, you see life as happening for you. You trust that even the challenges, even the hardships, even the moments of confusion are all part of a greater plan, a plan that is aligning you with something far greater than you could have orchestrated on your own. This is where most people struggle, because they still believe that alignment means everything will always be easy. But the truth is, alignment does not mean the absence of challenges. It means you no longer see challenges as problems, but as necessary steps in your evolution. It means you no longer resist discomfort, because you understand that discomfort is the birthplace of transformation. But it means you no longer fear the unknown, because you trust that the unknown is where the most miraculous possibilities exist. So I ask you, what if every challenge you are facing right now is not a punishment, but a lesson designed to bring you into deeper alignment? And this brings us to the fourth sign. You begin to feel guided by something greater than yourself. Call it intuition, call it divine intelligence, call it a higher self, whatever name you give it does not matter. What matters is that when you are truly aligned, you no longer make decisions from a place of fear or logic alone. You make them from a deep inner knowing, from a guidance that does not come from the mind but from the soul. And the more you trust this guidance, the stronger it becomes. You start feeling pulled toward certain choices, certain people, certain paths, without needing a logical explanation. And when you follow this pull, you realize that it was leading you exactly where you were meant to go all along. But most people do not trust this. They feel the pull, they feel the knowing, but they ignore it because it does not always make sense. But alignment is not about making sense, but it is about feeling right. It is about trusting what you know deep down before the evidence appears. And finally, the ultimate sign of alignment, you no longer feel separate from the universe, you feel like an extension of it. Most people go through life feeling like they are small, like they are just one person in a vast, indifferent cosmos. But those who are truly aligned experience something entirely different. They do not just believe in oneness, they feel it. They look at a tree and feel as if it is an extension of themselves. They hear the wind and recognize it as a whisper of their own soul. They close their eyes and feel the pulse of the entire cosmos beating within them. And in that moment, fear dissolves, doubt disappears. Because they finally remember the truth, they are not in the universe, but they are the universe. And that is the ultimate alignment. But now, I ask you a question that could change everything. What if the only thing keeping you from alignment is the belief that you are not already there? Because the truth is, you do not have to find alignment. You only have to remove the illusions that make you think you are separate from it. And when you do, life stops being a struggle. It becomes a dance, a flow, a masterpiece unfolding in perfect harmony. So, are you ready to stop resisting and finally step into the flow of the universe? because the moment you do, everything changes. Now that we have uncovered the 5 powerful signs of alignment, the next question becomes, how do we live in this state? How do we sustain it, embody it, and move through life with the kind of effortless flow that makes the universe feel like it is working through us rather than against us? Most people believe that once they experience alignment, they should never feel lost again. They think that once they have a breakthrough, once they have that deep realization, they will never again struggle with doubt, fear, or uncertainty. But this is a misunderstanding of how alignment works. Because alignment is not a static state. It is not something you reach once and then hold on to forever. Alignment is a constant, dynamic relationship between you and the universe. It is a dance, a rhythm, a flow that is always moving, always evolving, always calling you into deeper levels of surrender. And just like the tides of the ocean, just like the cycles of the moon, alignment moves in waves. There will be moments where everything feels effortless, where synchronicities are constant, where the path is clear and illuminated. And then there will be moments where everything feels uncertain, where challenges arise, where the universe seems to go silent. And this is where most people make the mistake that pulls them out of alignment. They think that when things become difficult, when the flow slows down, when they feel disconnected, it means they have lost alignment. But what if I told you that these moments of uncertainty, these moments of challenge, are actually part of the alignment process? Think about the most profound transformations in your life. Think about the times when you grew the most, when you became stronger, wiser, more deeply connected to yourself. Did those moments come from everything going perfectly? Or did they come from being tested, from being brought to your edge, from being forced to let go of what was no longer meant for you? Because this is the truth that most people do not want to hear. The universe does not just give you what you want. It gives you what you need in order to become who you are meant to be. And sometimes what you need is to be broken open. Sometimes what you need is to be stripped of everything that is not truly you, to be taken into the depths of uncertainty so that you can finally see your own power. So now I ask you, what if the moments you think are pulling you away from alignment are actually pulling you deeper into it? What if the challenges you are facing right now are not obstacles but initiations? What if the very thing you are resisting is the thing that is trying to set you free? Because here is what happens when you stop resisting and instead surrender to the process. You begin to trust life in a way that most people never will. You stop seeing setbacks as signs that you are failing, and you start recognizing them as necessary redirections. You stop fearing uncertainty because you understand that the unknown is where the greatest possibilities exist. You stop asking, "Why is this happening to me?" and start asking, "What is this teaching me?" And when you make this shift, everything changes. You stop fighting against the flow of life and instead align with it. You stop trying to control the timing of your manifestations and instead trust that everything is arriving exactly when it is meant to. You stop doubting whether you are on the right path and instead recognize that every path, even the ones that feel like detours, are leading you exactly where you need to go. Because alignment is not about avoiding difficulties. It is about reaching a state where no matter what happens, you remain steady, centered, and at peace. It is about developing a level of trust so deep that no external circumstance can shake you. And this is where the deepest level of alignment happens, not in the moments when everything is easy, but in the moments when everything is uncertain, and yet you trust anyway. Because real alignment is not about life always going according to your plan. It is about understanding that your plan is often too small for the magnitude of what the universe has in store for you. And this is why so many people feel like they are struggling, why they feel like nothing is working out the way they expected. They are clinging to plans that are too small for them. They are holding on to relationships, jobs, identities, and versions of themselves that are no longer in alignment with who they are becoming. And when the universe tries to remove these things, they resist. And they fight. They try to hold on, not realizing that what they are clinging to is the very thing blocking their next level of expansion. So now I ask you, where in your life are you still holding on when you need to let go? Where are you still trying to force something that is not meant to be forced? Because here is the truth. Alignment requires surrender, and surrender is terrifying. Surrender means letting go of control, letting go of certainty, letting go of the belief that you know exactly how everything should unfold. And most people are not willing to do this. They would rather stay in their comfort zones, even if it keeps them stuck. They would rather cling to what is familiar, even if it is no longer aligned. But those who are truly aligned understand that the greatest miracles happen when you finally release what is no longer serving you. Because the universe cannot bring you what is truly meant for you if your hands are still full of what is not. And here is the paradox. The moment you let go, the moment you stop grasping, the moment you trust so deeply that you no longer need to control, everything falls into place. The things you once chased begin chasing you. The opportunities you once struggled to manifest begin appearing effortlessly. The clarity you once searched for begins unfolding naturally. Because alignment is not about struggle. It is about resonance. And when you are vibrating at the frequency of trust, of surrender, of deep knowing, everything that is meant for you begins moving toward you. But here is the final and deepest truth. The universe is not something outside of you. It is not a force that exists separately from you. It is not something that you have to align with. It is something that you already are. But most people spend their lives searching for something, looking for signs, waiting for proof that the universe is guiding them. But those who are truly aligned understand that they are not in the universe, they are the universe. The same intelligence that moves the stars, that creates galaxies, that makes the sun rise every morning, that same intelligence is inside you. It is you. And once you fully embody this truth, once you stop seeing yourself as separate, once you stop searching for alignment and instead become it, everything changes. Fear disappears, doubt dissolves, struggle ends. Because you finally understand there is no separation. There never was. There never will be. And in that moment, you do not just align with the universe, you become it. So now I ask you, are you ready to stop searching and finally step into the alignment that has always been waiting for you? Are you ready to trust so deeply, surrender so fully, and embody this truth so completely that alignment is no longer something you try to maintain, it simply becomes who you are? Because the moment you do, everything changes. Not gradually, not someday. No, because alignment is not something you wait for. It is something you choose. And the moment you choose it, you step into a reality where life no longer happens to you, it happens through you. You stop being a person trying to manifest, and you become a living manifestation. You stop seeking miracles, and you become one. We have explored the signs of alignment, the flow of synchronicity, the deep sense of trust that arises when you surrender to life's rhythm. We have uncovered the truth that alignment is not about external circumstances, but about an internal state of being. Now, the final step is to embody it so completely that alignment is no longer something you do, it is simply who you are. Most people believe alignment is something that happens to them, as if it is an external force that occasionally blesses them with moments of clarity and flow. They wait for signs, they wait for synchronicities, they wait for validation that they are on the right path. But waiting is the very thing that keeps them disconnected. Because alignment is not something you find. It is something you choose. It is something you commit to. It is something you become. And this is where most people get stuck. They experience moments of deep alignment, moments where everything feels effortless, where life seems to unfold with divine precision. But then, something happens. A challenge arises. A period of uncertainty begins. The synchronicities slow down. And suddenly, doubt creeps in. They begin to question if they were ever truly aligned in the first place. They wonder if they lost their connection, if they somehow fell out of the flow. But here is the truth: you never lose alignment. You only lose awareness of it. Because alignment is not something outside of you. It is not a fleeting state that comes and goes. It is the very fabric of your being. It is always there, always present, always accessible. The only thing that changes is your level of awareness, your level of trust, your willingness to surrender to it even when you cannot yet see the full picture. And this is where true mastery begins, when you can remain in alignment even in the absence of external confirmation. When you trust the flow even when the path is unclear. When you no longer need signs from the universe because you have become so deeply attuned to its rhythm that you simply know. This is what separates those who simply experience alignment from those who embody it. Because the truth is, alignment is not about what is happening around you. It is about who you are in every moment, in every choice, in every breath. It is about how deeply you trust, how fully you surrender, how completely you allow yourself to be guided. And when you reach this level of embodiment, something extraordinary happens. You stop seeking because you realize you already are what you were searching for. You stop chasing because you understand that everything meant for you is already moving toward you. You stop doubting because you recognize that there has never been a single moment in your life where you were not exactly where you were meant to be. And in this state, something shifts on a fundamental level. Your energy changes. Your presence changes. People begin to notice something different about you, not because of what you say, but because of how you be. You radiate a sense of calm, a sense of certainty, a sense of deep, unshakable peace. Not because life is always easy, not because you never face challenges, but because you are no longer controlled by them. You no longer react to life, you respond to it. You no longer fear uncertainty, you welcome it. Because you understand that every single moment is happening for you, not to you. And this is where the final transformation occurs. You stop feeling like a separate being moving through the universe, and you start feeling like an extension of it. You no longer seek alignment because you are alignment. You no longer try to manifest because you are a living manifestation of universal energy in human form. You no longer ask for signs because you are the sign. You have become the very thing you were searching for all along. But here is where many people struggle. Because the mind, conditioned by fear, conditioned by doubt, conditioned by the illusion of separation, will try to pull you back into old patterns. It will try to convince you that alignment is temporary, that you must constantly work to stay in flow. But those who are truly aligned understand that alignment is not something you maintain, it is something you relax into. It is not something you achieve, it is something you allow. And the more you surrender, the more effortless life becomes. So I ask you now, where in your life are you still resisting the flow? Where are you still holding on when you need to let go? Where are you still trying to force something that is meant to unfold naturally? Because the moment you release, the moment you stop grasping, the moment you trust so deeply that you no longer need to control, everything falls into place. The things you once chased begin moving toward you. The answers you once searched for begin appearing effortlessly. The clarity you once struggled to find begins unfolding naturally. Because alignment is not about struggle, it is about resonance. And when you are vibrating at the frequency of trust, of surrender, of deep knowing, everything that is meant for you begins flowing into your life without resistance. This is why those who are truly aligned do not force, they attract. They do not chase, they become magnetic. Because they understand that the universe is not something outside of them, it is something they are. And once you fully embody this truth, once you stop seeing yourself as separate, once you stop searching for alignment and instead become it, everything changes. Fear disappears, doubt dissolves, struggle ends. Because you finally understand there is no separation. There never was. There never will be. And in that moment, you do not just align with the universe, you become it. So now I ask you one final time, are you ready to stop searching and finally step into the alignment that has always been waiting for you? Are you ready to trust so deeply, surrender so fully, and embody this truth so completely that alignment is no longer something you try to maintain, it simply becomes who you are? Because the moment you do, everything changes. Not gradually, not someday, now. Because alignment is not something you wait for. It is something you choose. And the moment you choose it, you step into a reality where life no longer happens to you, it happens through you. You stop being a person trying to manifest, and you become a living manifestation. You stop seeking miracles, and you become one. And that is the ultimate alignment.